10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
Deep to right field at the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you and happy Monday, everybody joining us. I do have a quick announcement, a little programming note for you as we go on the air on Monday the 28th. So we're getting into the overlapping season. As one overlap season comes to a close, another is about to begin. Eugene Emeralds baseball is going to be back in the area, which means that our friends that broadcast Duck Insider in the usual 6 to 7 o'clock hour on 95.3 The Score, the show is actually going to be moving to the Duck station, actually as it is branded, KUGN 590 AM / 98.1 FM. Those of you who tune into the show in the Eugene area, coming up next Friday will be the date that the show actually will move to KUGN, 590 AM, 98.1 FM. So if you listen to the show when you're driving home in the Eugene area, they play it a little bit delayed. We do the show live 1 to 2, Duck Insider. And right now, our friends at Cumulus Media in Eugene, they air the show in the 6 to 7 spot following our buddy Steve Tannen. It will be on Friday the 8th that the show will move to KUGN. The reason for that is overlapping programming schedules, and as a result, that also means that when Oregon baseball is on KUGN, which is the home of Oregon baseball, Duck Insider you'll be able to find right before a baseball game that would air in the evening. That's the plan. So the full schedule is available on the 95.3 website, 95.3 The Score website, KUGN as well. But the nitty-gritty is that Duck Insider moving to KUGN in the Eugene area, 590 AM, 98.1 FM, starting next Friday. And then the show will always be right before Oregon baseball if Oregon baseball is taking place in that 6 to 7 o'clock hour. We'll have some reminders for you, but wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that that was going to be the case. For Oregon baseball over this weekend, man, it was a fun weekend. The Ducks got a lot of wins, and some in, to be honest with you, relatively dramatic fashion. We're going to break down Oregon baseball because the Ducks are in first place in the Pac-12 standings. That's what you love to talk about on a Monday. You know, I was talking about this on the broadcast this weekend, Jordan Brenner and I, and it was really something to behold when we were talking about it in the month of March and how the baseball team is controlling its own destiny right now. You know, the dream is always to be controlling your own destiny in sports, right? Like you want to be in charge of what happens at the end of the season, and you don't want to have to rely on other people losing, getting help, if you will. Well, right now the Ducks control their own destiny for Oregon baseball. So shout out to the Ducks for being able to do that. We also have Oregon softball, and good news and some bad news for Oregon softball. The Ducks were without Coach Lombardi after she tested positive for COVID before the series last weekend. And so Sam Martyr, who we will talk with on the show tomorrow, filled in for Coach Lombardi as the head coach. She's the associate head coach, was elevated because Coach Lombardi tested positive for COVID. I did text with Coach Lombardi this morning, actually, because I wanted to know what she wanted to do for our regular conversation that we have on the show every Tuesday. She said, well, I want Sam Martyr to do it. I want Coach Martyr to do it. But the good news is that Coach Lombardi's doing well, and she's already out of her COVID quarantine. So that's good to know that she's going to be back with the team, it sounds like, sooner than later. So great news for Coach Lombardi. Glad that that is the case for her. And men's golf, women's lacrosse, men's tennis, women's tennis, acrobatics, tumbling, beach volleyball, track and field, all in action this weekend. A lot to talk about here on today's show. So on Friday, Oregon baseball, it felt like the microcosm of Oregon's season. A little bit of a rough start from the Ducks, and they've still continued to search for consistency in their starting rotation. And they got a little bit of an inconsistent start from R.J. Gordon. Coach Wasikowski mentioned when I talked to him about this that on Friday he felt like R.J. Gordon competed, he battled, but he just maybe didn't have his best stuff, and USC ran into a few balls. It happens, right? But a solid 9-7 win because Oregon's offense was just that good, and then Oregon's defense, in my opinion, was solid, and their bullpen was excellent on Friday. That's the formula for a 9-7 win. The Ducks kind of outscored USC on a Friday. Then on Saturday, it was a tough loss. First time all year that Matt Dallas walked a guy out of the bullpen for the Ducks. And he walked 2 guys, and he was one of 2 pitchers to hit a Trojan with the bases loaded. So suddenly, a game that could have been a 5-4 win for the Ducks ends up as a 6-5 loss with a couple bases loaded hit batters. Ducks just didn't quite have enough offense to outscore some of their mistakes that they made. So, it's a rubber match. And the Ducks, I'll be honest, didn't look good early. Really didn't look good early because Oregon gave up 5 runs in the first inning, a rough first inning for Caleb Sloan, getting the ball as the 3rd starter for the Ducks. But Oregon got 1 back in the first. USC got another back in the second. It's 6-1 after 2 innings. And it was just not Oregon's day. Took until the 7th inning, though, for the Ducks to get things going. And the 7th inning, well, good things happened. Colby Shade, he's currently on a 13-game hitting streak. Now, the bad news, we saw Tanner Smith's 12-game hitting streak come to a close over this weekend. But the Ducks have continued to have big moments offensively when they need them. They're outscoring teams. Well, Colby Shade got the Ducks going. Felt like Oregon had some life in the rubber match down 6-1. It wasn't 6-1 anymore after Colby Shade stepped up in the 7th on Sunday. This one from Shade, hit in the air, left field. Goodbye baseball off the scoreboard. Ducks getting the offense going again with a 2-run bomb from Shade. It's 6-3 now in the bottom of the 7th. Gave the Ducks some life. A little bit of a shot in the arm from a guy who has consistently been in the top 5 in the Pac-12 in batting average and one of the best batting averages in the country. And you know what's crazy is that when Drew Cowley was healthy for this Oregon team, Colby Shade was hitting 7th. Now he's up to the number 2 spot in the order, and he has not cooled off. There are so many puns. Really hot in the shade. I love it. I mean, with a last name like that, you got to have some fun with it. So the Ducks had some life. You know, it's like, okay, you knew that this team was never out of the running, right? You knew that the team was never going to roll over. And that's what's different with this team this year. They just don't give in. It was so interesting. Sitting there, the offense was kind of just chugging along a little bit. They hadn't gotten things going on Sunday. And it's like, man, maybe this isn't it. But I never was like, the Ducks are out of it. That's a testament to what they've done. So then I was talking with Coach Wasikowski on Sunday morning. We do the interview before the Ducks get rolling with their pregame routine to kind of get ready for the matchup. And I'm talking with Coach Wasikowski Sunday morning. And he said, you know, look, hey, sometimes things don't bounce your way because we're talking about the loss that the Ducks had on Saturday. But the job as a coach is to play the odds and to put guys in the best position to win, right? That's fundamentally what a coach's job is. And Coach Wasikowski said that to me, and he was like, you know, we're going to play the percentages. You play the odds a little bit. Well, the Ducks did that. They started Jack Scanlon, a little bit more of the defensive option at catcher for the Ducks. And Jack Scanlon hit a home run, a 3-run bomb to keep Oregon in the game on Saturday despite the loss. Well, they like what he does defensively. But Cromwick, man, Josiah Cromwick can just mash baseballs. So the Ducks decide to substitute Cromwick in off the bench. And boy, did that pay off in a big way. Josiah Cromwick now has 2 grand slams and 3 3-run home runs. One of the best in the country in terms of RBI per at-bat. And he's already one of the highest numbers in terms of RBIs per game in the Pac-12. So he stepped up with 2 men on when the Ducks were down by 3 in the 8th.
He is 0 for 2. Swinging a drive down the line and left. Way back to the wall to the bullpen and season for Josiah Cromwell.
Crombomb. That was Jordan Brenner on the call. Good to have him with us. I really enjoy doing games with Jordan over the course of the last few weeks, and it's nice to have a two-person broadcast booth. I think we can all agree the two-person broadcast booth is better. Better for everybody. So Josiah Cromwell, he comes in, he hits that tater, and suddenly it's tied up. And then Tanner Smith, who was 0 for his last 10, comes up with 2 outs. And Tanner Smith does what Tanner Smith does. He's the spark plug for this team. Tied at 6, Tanner Smith.
First and the 7th. In the air to right, a moonshot. See ya, Tanner Smith. Go ahead bomb. 4 spot in the 8th inning. A power surge in Eugene.
Excellent.
Ducks take their first lead today.
First lead today. It was 6-1 in the 2nd inning. Ducks came all the way back to take the lead 7-6, and I felt like there's a lot of highlights from a weekend in baseball, right? And when we do a show on a Monday, it's like the easiest day of the week to put together a Duck Insider because you got so many games to talk about. Well, you never felt like Oregon was down and out despite being down 6-1 in the 2nd inning. But the bullpen came in and did its job. The offense came on late. Suddenly it's 7-6. And by the way, the guy that Oregon scored those 4 runs off of, that's a guy that on Saturday shut the door on Oregon. Carson Lambert and Matt Keating, the 2 best relievers that USC has to offer, they're the reason that Oregon's offense, well, one of the reasons Oregon's offense wasn't successful on Saturday. Tip your cap. But then you really need to tip your cap and maybe throw your cap in the air because Oregon had the report on him. They made some adjustments. Maybe Lambert wasn't as sharp in back-to-back days, but he's one of the best relievers in the Pac-12. And Oregon squared him up twice, and the Ducks ended up taking the lead 7-6, and they did not relinquish it. Colby Summers with his 4th save. And I want to read you some of the numbers here. Tanner Smith goes 1 for 5, but he hits the home run. The big one that was needed. Colby Shade just doing what he does. He goes 3 for 4. Hits the home run that gets Oregon back in it. He's hitting .451 on the season. Brennan Malone, 2 for 4, hitting .371 on the season. Jacob Walsh, despite going 0 for 4, had a little bit of a freshman day, .349 hitter on the season. Is still the conference leader in basically every offensive category for freshmen. Josh Kasevich goes 3 for 4. He's hitting .358. Anthony Hall, despite going 0 for 3, still a near 300 hitter. I mean, the Ducks just have some depth here. And I'll be honest, I was really interested when Tyler Gannis pinch hit in kind of an execute an offense situation for Sam Nowitzki. I scratched my head and I went, who's going to play third? William Riley came in and played third. Didn't get tested at third base. Kind of wanted a ground ball hit to him, I'm not going to lie. I kind of wanted to see what he could do at third base. But the point is that the bullpen was excellent and the offense was really solid. And here's how excellent the bullpen was. So Caleb Sloan, the 1 rough inning, he finishes the 1st inning, 5 runs, 4 hits. Tommy Brandenburg came in for an inning and a third, 3 hits, a run. He walked a pair. That was what really hurt him. Then the Ducks hand the ball to Logan Mercado, who goes 3 2/3, 1 hit, no walks, 2 strikeouts, no runs. Dylan Sabia, who gets the win, 2 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, no walks. Colby Summers, 4th save. He's now 3rd all-time in saves at Oregon in his career. 1 inning pitched, no hits, no runs, no walks, strikeout. Bullpen was great. The last 3 out of the bullpen, excellent. That's the formula that Oregon's been using to win. They've got a lot of good arms in the pen. The offense is never out of a game. If they can find, and the defense has been good, I think if they get a little bit more length and consistency out of their starting rotation, look out, because this team's really good right now. They're in 1st place in the Pac-12 after today, or heading into the next weekend, I should say. Some takeaways for you. 8 straight games with multiple home runs. That extends a modern program record for the Ducks, a program record for the Ducks. They've also now had 16 straight games with 1 home run. Before this, the longest streak that the Ducks ever had in the modern era, 5. 5 straight games with a home run. They've got 16 straight games with a home run right now. Colby Shade's 13-game hitting streak. Ducks are in 1st place. And here's your Pac-12 standings. After the games concluded yesterday, Oregon is at 7-2. Oregon State, hot on their heels at 6-3. Arizona is 6-3. Washington 5-4. UCLA 3-3. ASU's 3-3. USC is 4-5. Stanford's 4-5. They had a tough start to the season, though. I feel like Stanford's going to get better as the Pac-12 slate goes on. They're kind of a front-loaded schedule in the Pac-12 for Stanford. Cal's also 4-5. Utah's 2-4, and Washington State is 1-8. The Ducks are 7-2, and they got 5 games with the Beavers ahead of them on the schedule. 3 with Arizona. A lot of meaningful baseball still in front of them. But at the end of March, heading into the 4th weekend of Pac-12 play, the Ducks are in first place, and they control their destiny. More coming up. We're going to hear from Mark Wasikowski, Josiah Cromwick, Logan Mercado, Tanner Smith, Oregon softball, Oregon track and field, every other sport that was in action. A busy Monday on Duck Insider. Back after this. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece. And it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Oregon baseball with a 2-1 series win over USC. Ducks are in first place in the Pac-12. And Mark Wasikowski, the Oregon baseball head coach, he talked with the media postgame for a few minutes about what he liked, some takeaways from the weekend. I think Coach Wasikowski happy, but you know Coach Waz. There's always things that the Ducks can improve on. His conversation with the media brought to you by the William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Here's Coach Waz on Sunday.
What'd you think? I mean, obviously proud of your guys probably for sticking with it and not getting in a hole when they were down 6-1.
Yeah, I mean, you get kicked in the teeth there early, and you get emotional, especially 18 to 22-year-old guys. They get emotional, and that's one of the learning lessons of the day. Is you play a 9-inning game for the reason that it's 9 innings, and if the game ended after 2, well, then I guess we lose. And we can go home and feel bad about ourselves, but because we had some perseverance and they stuck with it, and I credit Coach Martyr for that. I think he brought a lot of energy, especially when we needed it, and he did a great job preparing those guys. We got some very good swings there, obviously late in the game, and broke down a bullpen guy that's very, very good for USC.
Yeah, he'd been pretty good. What was the mentality that you guys had so much success against him?
Yeah, we didn't want to lose.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah, we didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
Coach, the move to bring Cromwick in the 4th ends up paying off. But just your thought or your decision on that originally, and just the thoughts that went behind it to take Scanlon out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't recite the stats on it, but the right-handed hitters at that point in time were heavy on the plus AB side of it. They were squaring a guy up, and I don't know. I'm just watching it from the side, and you guys are just spectators like me, and the right-handed hitters were having great at-bats against them. The left-handed hitters, and we've got some really good ones, but when those guys aren't having great at-bats, it just, something was wrong. The guy was effective against lefties. I couldn't tell you exactly why, but bottom line was he pitched well, and he had a real effectiveness against left-handed hitters. And so it wasn't anything that Jack Scanlon didn't do. It was just a matter of that I felt like giving us an advantage with a right-handed hitter, maybe to break him down with one AB, and the time that we brought him in was with a guy on second and 2 outs, and Josiah didn't get it done in that point, but still yet, it was a decision based off of how successful right-handed hitters were against their starter versus left-handed hitters, and that's the only reason why. It wasn't against any player that we had.
Well, Logan Mercado really locked down the middle innings today. Seems like a guy who's really been earning his spot. Just what did you see from him? Only 1 hit, 3 2/3.
Yeah, player of the day. I mean, player of the day. We had a bad start. We had a bad first guy up, and boy, it could have really gotten away from us had Logan not done what he did. He came in, he threw the ball over the plate, he had multiple pitches for strikes, and he brought a mentality that became infectious in the dugout. And as he continued to pound the strike zone, you could just feel a little bit more energy, a little bit more momentum. And it was all Logan Mercado today. Once he passed the ball on to the rest of the bullpen, Sabia and Summers were, again, electric and very, very good. And so, the bugaboo's the starting pitching. The back end's pitching exceptionally well, and the kids are continuing to swing the bats.
With Mercado's outing, is that somebody that, with you guys 5 games in a week coming up, is he somebody who you might try to give a spot start to?
Oh, I trust Coach Angier with what he wants to do, and I haven't visited with him about it. All questions are good questions, and everything's on the table, though. Good question.
Yeah, they're all thinking about the different rotations that they can have. Because remember, this now is a 2-game midweek week. 2 midweek game week. God, that's a hard sentence to say. The Ducks are playing 2 games this week in between their Pac-12 series on the weekend. Is it better? I don't know if that's actually any better. Oregon will play UCLA on the road this weekend. 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock, noon. Jordan and I will have the call down in Los Angeles. But 4 o'clock first on Tuesday, the Ducks will play San Francisco. And then at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, the Ducks will play San Francisco. That means no Duck Insider for us on Wednesday because we're all going to be at PK Park. Come join us. Hang out at the ballpark. You know what I love about a Wednesday game? Is that I see people at PK Park that work in Oregon athletics and in the University of Oregon as a whole who can take it as a work event. And then they go out to the ballpark and they're just, they're working. Scott's going to be working on a hot dog on Wednesday instead of sitting here directing the show, So you're not welcome in the booth, though. He knows this. He does know this. Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wasikowski, though. All right, we got a couple comments from players as well. Josiah Cromwick, heard them talking about him and just bringing him off the bench. Right-handed hitter. Ducks like that matchup. And Cromwick, well, a 3-run bomb. It was a big one. Josiah Cromwick, a couple minutes with the media postgame.
Logan seems like his pulse is still about 120 or something. Yeah. I mean, just what was the excitement level for all you guys to come back that way?
It was huge, man. Logan did a huge part in that. He was awesome. He was awesome. That kid's a competitor. He did an excellent job. He held us on our back.
Was called him kind of the player of the game, said he felt like you guys fed off him.
Yeah.
Top to the bottom. Can you describe what that was like watching him kind of shut them down and keep you guys in it?
He just did, like I said, he did an awesome job, and he just kept us in there, and that's what did it. I mean, he was huge. He was the key player of that game for sure.
Felt like the momentum really shifted after Colby Shea did his 2-run jack. Just, what was the dugout like after that moment and how you guys kept feeding it in that energy?
That was huge, yeah. That was a huge momentum shifter. The energy was unbelievable from that home run. Colby's an excellent hitter. He's awesome, and that was really clutch of him to do that.
Well, you go up there down 3. Just what were you looking for in that at-bat?
I was just looking for a fastball. I just wanted to get on time to something. I was looking for something over the middle of the plate, and I was just trying to put a barrel on it. That's it.
And then you really crushed it after.
Yeah, it felt good.
Logan said he was pretty fired up by watching them celebrate. Do you guys feed off that regularly? I mean, kind of the back and forth between dugouts?
Always, yeah. The energy is huge.
It was a pretty good pitcher you guys got to complete the comeback. That reliever, I think he'd given up 1 homer, and now he's given up 3.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher, yeah.
Tanner said he felt like you guys had scouted him well, watched video, what have you. Just what was your sense of how ready you were to attack a quality pitcher like that going into the box?
This team's always ready. The coaches do a great job of preparing us, and we're always ready.
This team's always ready. Well said by Josiah Cromwell. And he was very quick. I mean, look, he was the one catching Logan Mercado there. He was very quick to say, yeah, Logan Mercado, difference maker in that game. Speaking of Logan Mercado, let's hear a little bit from the Oregon reliever who was the player of the game, I think, in my opinion.
The mentality when you guys go down 6-1, what kind of mentality did it take to grind through this one and come back?
I was just angry. I was really angry. I mean, those guys have just been hammering us all weekend. Just semantics, past 2 games just kind of fueled me to go out there and just pitch angry.
Coach said kind of player of the day. I mean, when you come into a game in that situation, obviously you're just trying to execute pitch to pitch, but kind of in the big picture too, are you thinking, hey, my team's still in this, we got a chance to win? Does the thoughts like that creep into your head at all?
I mean, we're never out of it. Considering our offense, some of the best hitters in the country on this team, I mean, you never think you're out of it. You know, you never really get those negative thoughts, and I think our offense has proved so far that we can come back in these big games.
Seems like as the season has gone on, you've really solidified your spot on this team. Just what's been working for you so well that's allowed you to have these consistent outings?
Some clicked, kind of before pack play started. I guess, you know, I was tired of having, you know, not that good of outings, and I guess just something clicked, and, you know, got to go out there with the right mentality and just execute pitches.
So it's the right mentality for you, pitching angry?
Absolutely.
Does the game situation dictate that? Do you try to find a way to tap into that regardless of the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you got to psych yourself out to get into the right mentality. So you really have to go to extremes to, you know, pitch the way you want to pitch.
And that might not work for everybody.
Might not work for everybody.
That's the spot for you to get to?
Yeah.
A little bit of an edge that way?
Absolutely.
And then after you lock down those middle innings, how good does it feel to watch your team come back and end up pulling out the win?
Amazing. Best I've felt in a long time. You know, it was awesome. And I trust that our offense will come back in every single one of those games. We're never out of it. So.
At the risk of reading into body language too much, you still seem pretty amped up right now.
I am.
Is that fair?
You're right, yeah. It's going to take a little while to calm me down, but, you know, that's just how you get, and that's what you need to do in these games, you know.
When you get into the game down 6-1, how do you fire yourself up like that when your team is losing?
Well, they did it for me. Just, you know, with the antics, you know, the last 2 games, you know, I didn't really have to do much. You know, we go down 6-1, you know, it's all mentality from there.
Basically, they're hitting bombs and you're watching them celebrate.
Yes.
That's all you needed to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let me digest a little bit on the antics that Logan Mercado's talking about. This was a fiery series. Jordan and I talked about it on the broadcast all weekend. A fiery series in terms of guys are celebrating home runs. USC has a player hit a home run and then get ejected for celebrating said home run and maybe had some choice words. These teams were competitive with each other. It was fun. But it's fun when you win, right? And now winning the right way, I want to say, Coach Wasikowski told the team pregame on Saturday, hey, competitiveness, passion, that's good. Got to be careful with it, though. And then I think you saw why he said that, because on Saturday, Tyler Lozano, USC player that got ejected by the umpire crew for maybe that excessive celebration. He did not get to play in the game on Sunday. Could have been a difference maker. He was the leader on USC's team in home runs. Made a difference. Logan Mercado came in, pitched angry. Well, I think I'd be afraid of him if he's angry next time he's out there on the mound. And talking about the spark plug, we'll finish talking baseball with Tanner Smith. He is a guy who plays with a lot of passion. Tanner Smith, he hit that ultimately game-winning home run on Sunday. Was on a 12-game hitting streak before then going 0 for 10. Who cares about the 0 for 10? He hit the home run that won the Ducks the series. Here's Tanner Smith.
Pretty good pitcher you guys jumped on there at the end. Just why do you think, you know, you guys were able to put such good swings on him when some other folks hadn't had that kind of success?
I think it maybe just comes down to preparation. You know, we watched a lot of film on him. Coach Martyr spent a lot of time preparing us for him and what he has, and we were able to get him.
Talk about just the mood in the dugout. Colorado, obviously, Coach called him player of the game, and he said he was pitching angry. He's a little fired up watching them celebrate some of their early homers. But were all you guys feeding off that, and then maybe feeding off Logan's performance as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We try to all feed off each other. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. Like Logan, a guy like himself, plays with a chip on his shoulder, and that puts him at his best. Some other guys, it's smooth sailing. It's a smile. It's let your hair down, let it flow, and have some fun. And so, we're all just finding our true identity and just going from there.
Hitting streak snapped yesterday. Today you put a lot of good wood on the ball. Did you jump on an early pitch, and then did you feel like you were going to get something here?
Yeah, no, I was just tried to keep it as simple as I can. I knew the game was speeding up on me yesterday and today, and at the end it was just try to slow everything down, make it as simple as possible, and just put a good swing on the ball.
Sometimes you just want it to be as simple as possible. I think those are wise words from Tanner Smith, a veteran on this team, one of 3 nominees for the Senior Class Award. Takes into account not just competition, but everything that you do off the field, on the field. Tanner Smith, a guy involved in a lot of programs around Oregon athletics, the epitome of a student athlete who embraces the full experience. Quick timeout. When we come back, let's talk a little softball. Ducks with a real adversity-ridden weekend, and they capitalized in a lot of ways. Talking softball next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Oregon softball over the weekend. We talked about it with Nikki Reagan last week, facing a former coach of hers in Chelsea Spencer, now the head coach at Cal. Facing a former teammate of hers in Kylie Quico, now an assistant coach at Cal. No Coach Lombardi for Oregon softball. She had tested positive for COVID before the weekend, so following the local health guidelines was not with the team for the weekend. In the first game on Friday, a tough loss. Cal pulled away in the late innings. So on Saturday, Ducks had to bounce back. They did. They won 8-6. Some high-leverage jams that the Ducks got out of. And I was curious, without Coach Lombardi, what the pitching staff would look like. She's such a master when it comes to handling a pitching staff. She's such a master when it comes to calling pitches. I was fascinated to see how that would work over the course of the weekend. Well, it seemed like the Ducks worked themselves out of some big jams in Saturday's matchup. And then on Sunday, Ducks came back and won 8-7 to win the series. Love to see it. I will say it kind of stunk for me because every Oregon softball game was going on during Oregon baseball this weekend. So I was kind of following, as Jordan and I are calling the baseball game, but just seeing them come back was great. And I stacked this wrong for Scott. I want to actually hear from Rachel Sid this segment because Rachel Sid, that's a veteran who came up, hit her first home run of the season, and ended up being the difference maker in the game on Sunday. The Ducks won 8-7. They came back. They won the series. Rachel Sid, you can imagine, pretty happy with the way the Ducks dealt with adversity. They're still shorthanded. Still a lot of players dealing with injuries. They didn't have their head coach. And they won a series against a Pac-12 foe at home. Rachel Sid talking about all things Duck softball.
That one felt pretty good. I'm just super proud of my team. I'm glad that I was able to help contribute to today's win. And everyone had each other's back today. The way we came out from inning 1 to inning 7, we knew the entire way that we had it.
You know what the pitch was? You know what the pitch was in the home run?
The pitch was? It was outside, yeah.
You've been dealing with some offensive struggles, but you've been consistent. I mean, your approach at the plate and your defense, when you're not hitting, you're still contributing. How challenging has that been to stay focused all the time? Because I know you're doing it, but it's not the easiest thing when one facet of the game's not working, making sure the others are.
Yeah, it's not easy when one's off and one's on, but I believe in our team and I know that they always have my back, and if I'm not producing, then somebody else will, and I always have their back 100%. So it's just always about staying focused, staying in the game 100% all the time.
What was the dugout like in that first inning? Because I know you guys love challenges, but what was it like when you guys had given up that early lead, making sure that you guys come back and accomplish the goal?
Yeah, it was like, so what, 3 runs in the first inning, we still have 6 more to go. And we're a team that likes to fight back when things get tough, so that's just how we are. So the dugout from inning 1 through 7 was just, energy was high the entire way.
You haven't had to deal with a lot of these kind of weekends on a personal level, Rich. So what was the last 48 hours like when Friday is, all right, the game gets away, but when a tough play goes against you and offense has been a struggle, and then you come back and have a home run today and have some pretty big plays today. So just what is coping with that been like? Because you haven't had to deal with a lot of coping with those kind of challenges.
Yeah, I think our team has faced adversity for as long as we've been here. So just coming back from Friday's loss and then knowing Saturday and Sunday that it was going to be a dogfight, that it was going to be 3+ runs like every game, so that we knew that we were going to come out full energy, competing, and that's what we did.
For Kai to deliver the way she does there, for Stevie to close it, well, damn near close it out, and Jordan to close it out there. For a couple of freshmen to come up huge for you guys in a Pac-12 home series, and there's nearly 2,000 people here and really close games. What does it say about your freshman teammates? Super
proud of them. They've been working hard on and off the field. There's nothing much to say, but they're amazing, and they know that we believe in them. They believe in us, and when there's belief there, they know that they can do it.
What has it been like in terms of just the weekend with Coach Martyr leading things, but also Coach Reagan, I was calling the pitches along with Tara and Brooke there, and just at the end, I mean, Coach Martyr's getting jacked up with the crowd as much as probably when she was a player. So just, what was that like, the experience that it was?
Just everybody getting hyped up for each other, knowing that Coach Lombardi's out, but we always have her back. We always have everyone's back on this team. So whether who's here, who's not, that we got him.
Good takeaways from Rachel Sid as the Ducks win the series with Cal, and they're keeping pace in those Pac-12 standings despite not having their head coach this weekend. You heard there, Coach Reagan was the one calling pitches, and that was something, again, I was really curious about that. We're going to hear from Sam Martyr coming up. She met with the media postgame. She's also going to join us on Duck Insider tomorrow. Quick timeout. Return, talking a little more softball next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hey, Jan. Say, is now a good time for a new Toyota?
You bet it is. Now through April 4th is the perfect time to shop for a RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma, Corolla, and more. Imagine yourself in a RAV4. Where would you go first?
Skinny Al's Barbecue.
I'm imagining you inviting me.
Let your imagination run wild at your participating Toyota dealer. Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart savings strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. A lot of Oregon sports successful over the weekend, and Oregon softball facing some adversity. Shout out to acting head coach and associate head coach Sam Martyr. She led the Ducks to a series win over Cal, and she had a lot of comments post-game. I think she was pretty darn proud of the performance from the Ducks. Here's Sam Martyr meeting with the media on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, just so proud of our group. You know, it's tough to play a game like we did game one, and then to come back and take a series in the pack. I'm so proud of how they continue to fight, and how they weren't afraid to look at our mistakes and to look at where we're going to make adjustments and get better at it. I mean, like we talked about with Stevie, I mean, she's just beyond her years. And I think that what you saw in both of our wins were our pitchers just having each other's backs. You know, like McKenna coming in and then working through, you know, working past the first inning and giving us some really solid innings in there, giving us four solid innings. 3 shutout innings after the first, and then having Stevie come in and carrying us in that way, you know, for 2.2, and then Jordan, to come in with the bases loaded, right? You haven't seen the mound all day. To come in with the game on the line as a senior, right? And then to have enough confidence to throw your pitch, you know, and throw your pitches. I was just so proud, and so proud of, you know, Tara, and so proud of Coach Reagan and how they continued to call their games. You know, that was tough. And you got so many young people. I mean, Allison, like, that's a kid who, you know, continues to work and to wait for her moment and to come in and do what she does. I mean, we're a team that likes to rely a lot on our speed, you know, and Allison wants to get up there. So I was proud of her. You know, we talked a lot about us being hesitant on the bases earlier in the series, and even in the game, we thought we were being too hesitant. Part of how we win is pushing the envelope. So I was proud of that a lot in her. And if you know anything about Kai, like, that kid never stops working. You know, like, never stops working. She's always in here. She's always working on her own. And that's just, it's really special when you have somebody who isn't going to change her routine no matter how much playing time she has. She's just ready for her moments. And to put her in the leadoff and to see how well she's done, it's just really impressive. When
Rach has been struggling as she has, and it even goes back into last season, to have the day that she, after Friday, to have the day that she has, to have the home run finally, and then to get the rally started in the 6th, when you're working with her as much offensively, just what does that mean to you that she was a part of this in that way? Well, I mean, Rachel's been doing well all pack. She's someone who's in the top of our categories right now there, and that's why we want to move her up in the lineup. You know, she's first and foremost, like, she's a veteran, right? And whenever you have experience, there's nothing that really can replace that. And we needed, we relied a lot on our leadership this weekend. We needed it. We needed them to lead with within in a lot of ways. And so, you know, Rachel's someone even during batting practice was
tinking with some things and toying with some things and working through some things. And she's just someone who, what I love about her as a hitter is like she never is afraid of the moment. Like she always wants to be in the box. Someone who wants the game on her shoulders, and it was awesome. It's great to see her continue to work through, and she's had some big hits. I mean, she had a huge hit for us at Utah, like a double to lead off that inning. A huge series this weekend, and it's awesome. All their success though is on them. You know, them working, them continuing to grind through, and that's why I'm just so proud of. Like they have a lot of ownership on it.
In managing Kai's at bat there in the sixth, what is the strategy? What's the thought process from you in terms of, because that's the biggest at bat she's played in her career,
right?
In that moment. So just what is your approach when, I know it's not necessarily pitch to pitch too large, she's got the green light, but I mean, what are you trying to get across to her?
I think for her, it's in those moments you just want them to trust themselves. I mean, it's getting into the, you know, they've had multiple at bats off that pitcher. It's the second time she's seen her, and so I think that for Kai, she's someone who just creates so much havoc because she can bunt, she can soft slap, and she can power slap. And so for us, I mean, some people might think, okay, you want to like bring in a pinch hitter in that moment? You have second and third, you need a sac fly. And I think we just had a lot of confidence in her ability to power slap too in that situation. So for her, for Kai, she's done a lot on her routine, on her going from at bat to at bat and getting reset. And for her, it's just going through her routine, having a lot of trust in herself and knowing that she can get it done.
How stressful is it for you at the end of the dugout on 2-2 when Haljan steps back in after taking it to the grill? And that's a monumental pitch for Stevie. Oh yeah, well first of all, I hope that she's okay. I mean, to be able to come back in, that's incredibly gutsy. To even want to come back in the box after that, so that's, my hat's off to her. That's a really, really tough kid right there. And I hope that she's okay. But I think that we talk about this all the time as a team. Like in those situations, you gotta believe on us, right? You gotta bet on yourself. And of course, like the game it presents so many stressful moments, right? It's just up and down, up and down, up and down. You just have a choice on if you're gonna feed like the fear of it and the stress of it, or you're just gonna bet on yourself and feed into that. And so for me as a coach, of course, like I want her to do, and really it's for the kid. Like I want her to go in there and do what she's gonna have so many big moments, Stevie. She's gonna face some really elite hitters in the pack, and she's already has. But for her, I just think it's a really cool moment for her to be able to get in there. Sunday she's pitched, I think, more pitches than anybody, at this point, and she's, I'm sure, gassed, and she continues to want the ball. So as a coach, you're just really excited to have Stevie on the mound in that situation.
Externally, the body language today, when you guys had given up the lead, it didn't seem like there was any slouched shoulders. There was a lot more confidence today. Was that something you guys talked about, making sure? Because you guys displayed different.
Yeah, I think that, from our perspective, watching back, to our players' credit, like we didn't shy away from re-looking at that game. And I think that if you were to ask any one of our players, they wished that we would have pressed a little bit of a reset button. They wish that our body language would have been better. They wish that we stayed in it. If you know anything about this team, like this team cannot be counted out. I think that they felt that in Greensboro, right? And they felt that a lot of the season. Like this team continues to learn from what they've done, continue to fight. And we talked about it today as an offense, right? Like we got to have our staffs back. I think that like they have had our back so much of the year, right? Like it took a minute to get all of us flowing offensively the way we wanted to, and we had to have their back. We had to have Coach Lombardi's back, right? And as like the head coach too of the pitchers. And so for them, I think that that's just, you can't fake like having belief that you can come back. And so for them, I was just really proud that they felt in it the entire time, and even like the pitchers keeping us in it, right? Keeping us in it, keeping that score at 3 so we could battle back, and I loved how we just were able to kind of chip away too at it. We didn't come all in one inning. So I'm happy that it looked like their body language was good because we talked about that.
Was there any external, you talked about the game plan had been to be aggressive, but it looked like today there was a lot more aggressiveness on the base paths. I mean, not that you guys hadn't been stealing, but it just looked like there was a definite push on that. Is that?
Yeah, we again, like, I think that one of the strengths of our team is our speed, and maybe sometimes we'll be a little bit too aggressive, but we would rather kind of push it in that kind of a way. We like to generate runs that way. And so I think for them it was just having no fear, like, in their decision making. I mean, even Gabby had like a monstrous run, like not hesitating, going, sliding in, running hard. A lot of people talk about too, like, our strength coach is unbelievable. KJ, like, this team is as strong, as fast as I've seen them. And we credit a lot to what KJ does with us. We credit a lot to what, Justin does to getting them recovered. I mean, Sunday, right? Like, got bodies that are hurting today and getting them recovered in that way. So I was proud that they didn't have a lot of hesitancy with it.
With as intense the last 2 days were, I can certainly appreciate it, but you don't see that very much from an assistant coach, Sam. It was like your playing days.
Oh, what was that?
The post game, as jacked up as you were, and motioning to the crowd, just at the end. All right, now that you're through the weekend, that was rather unexpected. What was that like? Because, like I say, you probably haven't showed that since your Ohio State days.
Right. Well, I think that we challenged our players, like, to raise their intensity. Right. We challenged them just to raise their bar, and I think that starts with us as coaches. Right. Like, I think it's okay to show that. I was really proud of them to come back from what we came back from day one. I want them to feel me. Like, I want them to feel how in it we are with them and how awesome that was. And also, like, I think our fans deserve it. Our fans that's something I want to make sure I say. Like, our fans were unbelievable this weekend. Like, they were another player for us. And I think that as a fan, sometimes, like, we get them at the end, right? But I wanted them to know, like, I felt them and I appreciated them being in it. It was very easy for our fans to kind of give up a little bit. They had every right to after day one. We talked about that. Like, we felt like we let our fans down after day one. And to come back and to be so loud and in it on Saturday, to come be even more in it on Sunday, like, I just really want to thank them, and I wanted them to know that, like, we felt them and we appreciated them.
Shout out to the fans at the Jane. I love it from Associate Head Coach Sam Martyr. She met with the media after leading the team in Coach Lombardi's absence. She's going to join us on the show tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to talking to her about that exact fact. When we come back, tons of victories and success from the weekend for Oregon athletics. We focused a lot on the Diamond Sports today. Going to hit everything when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece. And it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Back on Nugget Side, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill as we wrap up the show today. Men's golf. This was fun. Birdie, ace, birdie, birdie, par, birdie. That was the 6 middle holes for Eric Doyle on Saturday at the Goodwin. He shot a 7-under 63 to help the Ducks earn their 5th top 5 finish in the last 6 events. Oregon was at 18th at the end of the first round. They went all the way up to the 5th. Casey Martin said, quote, Eric was amazing today. It was one of the best rounds I've witnessed in a while. So pumped for him. The Ducks, pretty darn good at the Goodwin. They end up 5th overall. I think that this is a big momentum-building week for Oregon men's golf. Following the Duck Invitational last week, the Goodwin, I think they, finished strong. Oregon women's golf, the team carded its best round of the weekend and the low round of the day on Sunday to finish alone in second place at the Ping ASU Invitational. The number 2 Ducks, a 6-under 282 in the final round. Oregon finished above 6 teams ranked in the top 25, including 8 strokes ahead of number 1 Stanford. Ducks are number 2. They were 8 strokes ahead of the number 1 team. Pretty good, huh? Congratulations, Derek Radley's team. Oregon continued to get contributions up and down the lineup. I'm telling you, that women's golf team, don't look now. Actually, do look now. They're legit. Women's lacrosse on Friday. Morgan McCarthy and Hannah Hilkoff each recorded hat tricks. Oregon caused a season-high 11 turnovers. Ducks won their 2nd straight game, their first in Pac-12 play this season, 12-9 over Cal on Friday at Pat Bay Field. They did fall to Stanford on Sunday. Stanford's one of the better teams around, 20-10. Ducks now 3-7, 1-4 in Pac-12 play. Men's tennis dropped the tough one to Utah on Friday, but women's tennis, shout out on senior weekend. You beat the Huskies. Let's go. Oregon women's tennis on senior day. Number 20 Washington, they swept them at the Student Tennis Center. Oregon acrobatics and tumbling won against Azusa Pacific on Friday, carded at a 280.580 as the Ducks are now a month away from the NCATA National Championships, which will be hosted here at Matthew Knight Arena. Beach volleyball, Oregon beach volleyball team split 2 matches on Saturday at the Pac-12 South Invitational. They got a 3-2 win over Washington in the team's 2nd match of the day. Ducks are 8-5 with Saturday's results and match the program high for single-season wins. Oregon's victory over the Huskies, first since 2014, first year of the program. Congratulations. That beach volleyball team continuing to grow. A full-time head coach for the beach volleyball team this year. Love to see that program continue to grow. And track and field, highlighted by a school record by freshman Shanna Grebo. In the 400-meter hurdles, the Oregon track and field team racked up 10 wins and 9 top 10 program performances Saturday at the Aztec Invitational. Collegiate debut in her signature event. Grebo won the 400 meters. Pretty cool. Ducks open their 2022 home schedule with the Hayward Premiere. That's this weekend, April 1st through 2nd. And that's your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Menus are always at cafeyum.com. Good week for the Ducks. We'll see you tomorrow. Rob Mullins joining us.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Watch